team being off on a Tuesday. They take on the Colts this week. Shane Steichen.
Somebody said, hey, they should be practicing it. Tuesday's official NFL day.
The day off.
Unless you play on Thursday.
Right.
Or maybe even a Saturday. I'm not sure. But Tuesday is official day off. And believe me when I tell you, it sucks having a Tuesday off.
Yeah, what are you doing on
Nothing.
Tuesday? It's a terrible day.
You can just go out and watch Monday Night Football and sleep in. And if you're hurt or you're injured, you got to come in and get treatment all day. So
yeah, well, you're not working the rest of the week, though.
Huh?
You're not really working the rest of the week.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like you're half-ass working. What are you doing? You on a treadmill underwater?
Yeah, Tehran.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
If you're hurt?
That's exactly what I said.
If you're hurt?
Different schedule. Like, it's different.
No, well, I didn't have, I was from the old school of rehab. And our trainers thought, especially when I was in Minnesota, if we work him hard enough, he'll want to practice.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it.
That was the attitude.
Rub some dirt on it, dude. Yeah. That's what era you grew up in and played in.
Isn't that funny? What, Devontae Adams' hammy is all of a sudden better?
It's crazy.
It's crazy how
good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him. Happy for him. Happy that all of a sudden he is healed.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel. You know, the Dolphins have had some penalty issues.
The whole league has. Let's not just put it on one team. But last night's game,
it was bad.
A lot of laundry.
It was bad.
And a lot of the BS calls.
Here was McDaniel on how they're going to get that fixed.
To me, I was very happy with our practice. I thought we got better again before we played the Patriots, and my expectation is that we have a collective understanding of how that got better, not to be confused with what we want or our desired result, but there was no magic fairy dust that got that better. Our operation and our communication was better because we put the work in at that. And so my expectation is to see all of my teammates double down on that and to improve upon what we improved upon.
No.
What? No.
Magic fairy dust.
No. Anybody just tell me right now.
Yep.
Jennifer, what was the question?
I don't know.
Like when Mike McDaniel sometimes gets done talking, I'm more everybody's on the other side saying, what did we ask him? What's the follow-up to that?
Just words. There is no follow-up. He spoke yesterday. One answer was 6 straight minutes.
No way.
I'm not lying.
What was the question?
No, I believe it.
Did you see the new did you watch the new season of whatever? It don't matter what the question
is. It was like, you guys are I thought he sounded like a lunatic.
But here's the problem. And here's why I just make fun of him. I don't get mad at him. We can all see what some of these issues are. And it's player related. But he ain't going there. So he goes around it. Right? And so I appreciate that. And I'm more than sure the players appreciate that. That's not what's happening behind closed doors. He doesn't have to beat around the bush. He can just be direct and straightforward.
He said, you mentioned the quarter poll here. Most teams are 2-3, 3-2. First of all, is the bye week at a good time so you guys can sit back and realize, okay, things haven't gone great in the first stretch, but everything is still in front of us that we want. And dude, look at. I'm just gonna show you. Come here. Just look at the transcript on the answer, on how long this answer was. This is his words. Look at this.
How many ums are there?
Just
it's gotta be.
They cut those out of the transcript.
Oh my god.
Why? Not accurate.
So if you listen to it live, it's even longer.
Like it's great. I was like, what? Here's part of that answer on the 2 and 3.
I think the biggest thing is that there's some teams that are maybe have 0, 1, or 2 losses that in the NFL you can get lulled to sleep in terms of you can get comfortable. You can be like, all right, we're winning some games, and you can lose the most important, absolute, without like non-negotiable, is you have to be playing your best football at the end of the year for you to like the results of the end of the year.
Really?
Here's what a normal coach would say that didn't overthink it. Oh, it's the So here's what happens. Here's what another coach, if you ask him the same question, would say. We're in no position to take any team lightly because there's about 15 teams that are in the same position we're in.
Yeah.
Nobody separated themselves except for 2 or 3 teams in the whole entire NFL. So that means every week is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, but he says all the words.
Right, without actually saying what I just said.
All the words. And I'm just like, maybe he was just revved up because he hasn't talked to anybody.
Oh, so he had some pent up.
I don't know. But
But
like
I'm just
every
saying,
answer yesterday was like
no matter
so long.
no matter what,
Longer than usual.
no matter what you ask him, I think in his mind, right, he's trying to accomplish more than just the question.
Doesn't his mouth get tired?
No.
I can
'Cause,
understand.
You know,
talking
when he
about your
his
own
mouth
team.
takes a break when he goes,
Does it?
yeah.
What's that, Froggy?
Leroy, you said that he tries to, like, not blame the players, which makes sense. He's defending his own team.
Right.
There's a cut here that says 2.5 minutes on Joe Flacco. How can you potentially talk about Joe Flacco for 2.5
Who's not even
minutes?
playing, by the way. He didn't know, like, they didn't know that at the time, but like 2.5 minutes on Joe Flacco.
But that's it. They didn't know. But here's what's
Because I don't know where to stop it. I'm like, where
Here's
does
what's
the
amazing.
thought begin and where does it end?
Here's the amazing thing about Joe Flacco. And it's the same thing I said to you last year. Everybody loves Joe Flacco. He makes plays. But then you look at his numbers and they're meh.
Joe Flacco's mom doesn't have 2.5 uninterrupted minutes of thoughts on Joe Flacco.
Doesn't he have a lot of kids too? Yeah.
I don't think he has a lot of kids, but I remember in one
he
season,
got like 3 kids. He got 3 kids and his son and his kids.
Tyreek.
No, his son when it was Dolphins Jets before the Dolphins. It was Mike McDaniel's first year. His son was wearing a Tyreek Hill jersey, and he was starting for the Jets. He goes, "It's the cheetah."
like that.
2.5 minutes.
Flacco's done a very good job, like he has the last couple years, of being, the art of being a good backup quarterback is there's a laundry list of things. One of those things is how much can your offense not miss a beat, so to speak, or how much can your offense adjust around a different, quarterback. And I think to Joe's credit, I think he's won two games this year doing exactly what the team needs him to do, which is orchestrate the offense, be able to handle all the different motions and keep the offense on schedule, and then make the plays that the guys that are in there with a starting quarterback, what they've learned how to make plays on, within that offense with a different guy at helm. So I think he's done a very good job of executing what is one of the more difficult things in the National Football League, and that's to be one of 22 players, or if you want to do special teams, 33 players on the field that are starters, that you allow the other 32 sometimes to help win the game by being a professional, knowing when you have to make your plays and when you leave it up to maybe the ball carrier or a check down. So I interviewed him coming out when he was coming out of Delaware, and they get a fist pump for Delaware.
I'm from Delaware.
Didn't expect that. Sorry, threw me off. My cadence.
Get this guy.
That's what I'm talking about. Some Delaware love.
Delaware.
So and happy to see him continue his career as he's done it.
Who we
and
talking
his
about
opportunities
again?
in Indy.
Delaware.
What was the question?
How's Joe Flacco, who's not even playing?
That was
Yeah.
30 seconds. I actually cut it off.
That was not 30
because
seconds.
It just
That's a
feels like
lie.
longer when he talks.
Hey, can I just say I know what he's doing.
Do you think like
You
one
know,
of
I'm telling you what he's doing. He's going. If I make these questions and these answers long enough, these dudes will stop asking me questions.
No, I don't think it is, Leroy. I think he genuinely just doesn't shut up. More questions came.
You
Then
think-
longer answers.
You think me and him can have a talk off?
I think he beat you, dude.
Huh?
No, Leroy.
I think you would get
I've only
very
been- I've
upset.
only been-
I
wait,
think you'd get
I'ma
very
say
upset
this.
before.
I've only been beaten by one guy, and guess who that guy was?
I know who it is, but you let everybody know.
Lee Trevino.
What?
Oh.
No, I thought it was Jax.
I thought it was
No,
Jax.
Jack's give me a run from. We just go back.
Jack's a
and
good
forth.
sparring partner.
Yeah, good sparring partner. So I played in this event in New Jersey. We played every year. It was an NFL Cadillac thing, and you get paired with a pro, and you have a cut, and you keep going. So this Friday, I'm paired with Lee Trevino, and we were in the locker room, and the other players were making bets with the pros
Mm-hmm.
who was going to talk more. Right? Now, I was at a disadvantage, so I should have got some points for this reason. I was out of my element, right? Like when you do something that you're not accustomed to doing, you're already a little nervous, and the talking part of it doesn't come natural. Lee Trevino talked. The round of golf was 4.5, 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
He only stopped talking to swing his golf club. So all the way up
Gotta
until
focus.
the time where he got on, hit the ball, then back to his conversation.
Gotta focus.
And I was looking at him going, I said, Lee, I never thought I'd say this before. But if this was the Super Bowl, you have just won the MVP.
MVP.
And they like,
But can we just think about the ridiculousness of he spoke for 2.5 uninterrupted minutes on Joe Flacco,
Yeah.
and then had the audacity to end it with somebody fist pumping Delaware threw me off my cadence.
My whole cadence.
So I was rolling,
Yeah.
and you guys ruined it because you love Delaware.
going from a McDaniel story to a Leroy story is radio waterboarding.
Take a break. Back after this.
That's fair.
What did you say?
What did he say during the break?
Mm.
Forget the whole Laney Wilson thing,
Oh, that was rough.
right? That was a different
That
one.
he
Oh,
thought
baby
Laney Wilson
backs.
was from LA.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
so
there's
so
a
we had
recall.
conversation. We were talking about food.
of course.
I said, y'all like chicken parm? She says, I'm not really a fan of chicken parm. And
Mm.
I said, my wife makes them with chicken thighs.
Ah.
Awesome. Stay nice and juicy. Sometimes, the things, she goes, I
Don't know if I like that.
I said, do you like veal parm? He goes, baby
Baby cow.
baby cow,
Yeah. veal.
like baby backs.
baby back ribs.
So that's what I did.
What? Oh,
It's funny because I took a deep. I went.
We both just looked at each other. We're like,
What?
shut up.
Same thing. Veal, baby back ribs. Where do you think they get them from? The stork? Grow up, guys.
No, like baby backs and St. Louis ribs grew up in the same neighborhood. Jesus.
Yeah, one of them was an adult.
No.
Yeah.
One's just down the street.
One of them became a saint. The other
One's
one-
down the street. They still come from the same animal.
Ah,
You didn't know that. You thought baby backs come from a different animal?
a piggy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do St. Louis ribs.
Nah.
The same pig.
That comes from a hog.
Oh my God. Dude,
Sweet.
you are one of those people that just sit down and say, I don't know what it is or where it came from, but it's delicious.
You just call
That's
everything
you.
Chicken. As long as it's not seafood, I'm good to go.
All right,
Dude,
Froggy.
wait.
Yeah, it says the person who got
Grabbed it.
airplaned into. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Disgusting.
goodness.
All right,
Look.
froggy back ribs.
Okay.
Can you give me Mike McDaniel making no sense about where this Dolphins season is at after and comparing it to the last 2 years?
Oh, yes. Yes, I totally can.
You don't have it, do you?
No, I don't.
Because he was trying to figure out where baby backs came
I
from.
know exactly where they come from, dude.
I want my froggy back, froggy back, froggy back, froggy back, froggy back ribs.
Wow.
Is this the one that J-Fig distracted you from?
Yes, it is indeed.
Wow.
I
It
wasn't even
is
talking.
indeed.
I wasn't even
No,
talking to
she was
him.
in
Now he
there
said he was
yelling.
like yelling at you the last time around.
I was yelling.
He
Yeah.
was yelling at me.
Wow.
Well, look, either way, you're yelling, my yelling, still gonna be
Still
shorter
crying.
than this Mike McDaniel cut. So be happy.
Ironically,
What is he?
this season for the Miami Dolphins is no different than the two previous in my mind. How do I say something like that? Well, like you win, you lose, you have stats that are favorable, you have stats that aren't, but you have to find adverse situations to grow through as a team, so that when you're building up for however long, I mean, when you really think about it, single elimination or elimination games, whether that's to get into the playoffs or that's that you're in the playoffs, those elimination games are buildup of a lot of work, and you need a team that is used to high stress situations. One way you can induce stress is, have a 3-game losing streak early.
Oh, we done?
Oh, he's done.
Leroy, take a trip to the bench.
I was going to say, one of the ways you can induce stress is listening to you.
What?
Listening to Mike McDaniel's a way I can induce stress.
Like,
Man.
like, what was the question? Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Like, he was going to answer with that answer. That was next up in line. Whatever you asked the question, that was his next statement.
What was the question? I think that's always what people say when they get done listening to him is, what was the question? And it's just like, how can I say that this year is the same as the last 2 years when I've never been under 5, when I've never been over 500?
Yeah.
Glad you asked. It's exhausting.
I mean, here's what sucks. When you try to actually listen to it, the way he's trying to make sense of it is to kind of simplify it and not make it extreme one way or the other, right? To keep everybody focused. I understand that. That being said, you lose a lot of people with your explanation because it's not, even though I get it because I've had coaches that talk like this all the time. A lot of people can't pick out the good parts.
But like, I get what he's saying. Like, you're always like, adversity can come in a lot of forms, is basically what he's saying.
Everybody has it, and everybody goes through it during the course of a year.
Right. You're either going to be battle tested by it later, but it's going to come. But
Right.
like, he's been spitting that same thing the entire time he's been here.
Yep.
And dude, you can't, Mike. I know that you don't have Tua. Okay, granted, I'll give you that. You can't tell me this isn't the worst the football team's ever played under your leadership.
Yeah, but what here? I think what he's trying to say is that every year a team's going to go through certain things like this, right? At different parts of the season. And you got to learn how to deal with them and whatever. The fact that they're going through it now is just the timing is different. But that you're going through it during the course of the year is not. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't buy it though.
Of course you don't buy
I don't
it.
buy it though.
I get the fact that you don't buy. So here, let's take last year. Last year they went through this the last month of the season.
Yes.
Okay, so what if I take that
Which is what they all
hold on. If I take that last month of the season and plug it here now,
Mhm.
and then have that stretch that they went on in the middle of the season At the end of the
But
season.
see, the problem when you do things like that is it's assuming you're always going to even it out. There's going to be a yin and yang, and
Right,
that you're
but
not
that's-
just continuing a slide.
That's what
down.
he's saying.
But no,
That's
to me
what he's saying.
But to me, it sounds like he's saying, "Oh, this is just our rut now, and it's going to get better."
Yes.
When to I think any Dolphins like, no, dude, we've been in the rut.
He didn't say it was going to get better, but he said everybody goes through this at some point during the course of a season, and you have to deal with it.
But it's like his point to me is saying like you need like to know how to go through hard times.
Yeah,
and it's like you should know already.
Well,
we've been through the hard times.
But here's the difference. The Dolphins' hard times have always been losing your star players. It hasn't been one star getting hurt. It hasn't been, it's been all of your pass rush, all of your wide receivers, your quarterback. Like, it's been that. So it's a little bit different from that standpoint, but to have to go through it, everybody goes through it every year. How did all of those blue shirts let him catch that ball? Look at him.
Very distracted by the television today.
So you understand what I'm saying? I get what he's saying. I'm not saying I necessarily
You don't get what
agree with. No, I do.
Your reaction when he was listening was not that of.
Well, I'm always going to react like that because he takes a long time to.
Can you
put it this way?
Give me the
Mike
start of him again?
McDaniel drives around the world to get next door.
Let me get him revving
That's
up his
the
engine.
gist of his conversations.
Ironically, this season for the Miami Dolphins is no different than the two previous in my mind. How do I say something like that? Well, like you win, you lose, you have stats that are favorable, you have stats that aren't, but you have to find adverse situations.
Fine, okay, I get it. But like
usually
nobody asked you to. Nobody was questioning you. Like we're not on the debate stage here.
How do I do that? Good question.
What are you, a professor?
Like he has his own follow-up questions.
And
Who does that?
How do we get here?
Who does their own follow-up
He
questions?
legitimately doesn't need any reporters there. He'll answer. He'll sit up there for a half hour himself. You might as well just have the Mike McDaniel solo podcast.
Solo podcast.
Just like let Mike McDaniel go up there, riff for 30 minutes on what he wants to riff on.
Ramblings from a football coach.
Be like, all right, great. We have a question in here from Adam from Pembroke Pines, and Adam's asking me, "Hey, dude, what the bleep?" Glad you asked.
Whoa,
Glad you asked.
you know what?
You know what I do miss from the last year, Mike? Though, it's just me.
Points.
Yeah, touchdowns. That's what I miss.
But again, you don't have your quarterback.
Just come on, man.
How many times
You got a turnover on the 6. The
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to listen to the Mike McDaniel solo podcast and hear one of these?
You know, I anticipated this question.
I bet you did, dude. I bet.
So
Right.
I get what
The Mike
he's saying.
McDaniel podcast
Here.
is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Classic.
I get what he's saying. I understand what he's saying. Right. It still doesn't mean it doesn't put me to sleep.
Oh, dude.
But I get what he's trying to say. And keep in mind, the other thing you need to understand is Mike's a very positive guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's always going to go at things from in a positive light. So that's why his answers are the way they are. How do I look at this? Like we've been through this the last 2 years and now we're just getting there at a different time. Right? And like what he fails to realize is neither time did you actually get through it.
No.
At that point, it was the end.
Yeah, he keeps saying these things like adversity is an opportunity. And
Well, that's what, yeah. Like
they never use the opportunity to get over the adversity. It's like it never happens. It's always, this is going to pay off. And I think the fans are just sitting here be like, when?
Yes. And again, understand that what his message is to his team and not necessarily to you. If he ever is not that positive and he goes negative like the fans want him to go, like, Yeah, they're aware of what's going on. And behind closed doors, he made guys, we're not playing very good right now. We got to pick it up.
Take a break.